Hi, everybody. Happy Halloween. Hope everybody is enjoying the day and enjoying the festivities. I definitely like Halloween. I think it's a fun holiday. So I hope you all are having fun today, and I hope you all had a good week as well. Yeah, a lot of energy in the air. I hope you've been able to harness it and use it for your music, or at least something positive. Let's see here. I guess same old, same old, same old. If you got something that you want to say, drop it in the comments section, and hopefully I will see it. Or in the live chat. Drop it in the live chat, and hopefully I will see that as well. Today should be a reasonably short lesson. I'm gonna kind of pick up where we left off last week in terms of putting some finishing touches on our mix, and yeah, let's get right into it. Let me switch this over. Beautiful. Here we are. And so I cleaned up a little bit of it. I kind of couldn't help myself just to make it more make it more how I do my mixes personally. So some of the colors on the tracks changed. Hopefully that doesn't throw anybody off. I wanted to talk today kind of about, excuse me, about what we are trying to do when we mix our music. Basically, we've got these different elements in our song. Specifically, we've got vocals, some piano, some synthesizers. And so what we're trying to do is carve out space for each of these and to create a space that draws you in, that a world that invites you in to listen, to have an experience, that this music will be the soundtrack to, I guess. Excuse me. And so last week I remember saying that a big part of it is just making sure that you've got your levels correct. As simple as that is, it is a big part of making sure that your mix is going to come out good. So, because that's what we want, right? I mean, we don't need to worry about EQ, compression, delay, reverb, any of that stuff if our vocals are being buried by the piano, or if our synth is dominating, if our background synth line is dominating our bass line. So just getting that set correct is going to really help out our mix. Another thing that will help it out, you can see these little spaces here. I took out the breaths in my vocal take. It's a little thing, but it is also a big thing to get rid of any extraneous noise that is not serving your sound or your song. Get rid of it, because there's only so much audible space that we can utilize. And so anything that is taking up space and is not, it's just like in life, anything that is taking up space in your life that is not serving a higher purpose, get rid of it. So get rid of those breaths, unless you're making an artistic choice to leave them in, like doing something like Bjork or something. But if you are, don't make the artistic choice of laziness. That's the big takeaway here. And I know some of it is not even laziness. It's maybe just not even thinking about doing that, which is why I'm bringing it up, to really go through your mix with a fine-tooth comb and be like, is there some schmuck or some garbage in here that I can clean up? So let's see. Let's talk more music. So I pretty much went through and added some EQ to what I felt like this track needed. I did some panning. This high melodic line is coming out of the right side of our speakers. Oops, excuse me. Yeah, that, and then the doubling of it, I panned even further out, just as kind of like a way to create a vibe, to create an environment, to create space. This other synth part, I panned to the opposite side of the spectrum. I also put some compression on that because this is almost like adding like it's a bed. It's like it's a pad that I'm wanting the rest of the music to go over. So I compressed it pretty hard, and let's see here. Maybe I didn't compress it too hard. But there's no drastic dynamic change, so maybe I compressed it a reasonable amount. But it is not hardly much compression at all. That's funny. But it could use a touch more. And let's bring up this time just to really... Cool. Because we just want it as a pad. Doesn't need to poke out at all, just something laying underneath it all. And coupled with the high synth in our other speaker, we got that. Let's bring in the rest of the tracks. Okay, so right now I'm liking this balance. Bass may be a bit hot, but this is part of the... I confused myself when I rearranged some of this stuff. That's too much. Definitely another point that goes hand in hand, or is equal importance of getting your level set correctly, is listening to your mix on different systems. Any system that you hear music on and are familiar with is a great, invaluable tool to listen to your mix. So I got my setup here where I've got my monitors. Next thing that I listen to, or the next tool that I use, is headphones. I got a couple different pairs of headphones that I tested on, and I know what each headphone is going to sound like. One of these headphones is is super bass heavy, right? So I know that, I can realize that when I'm listening to it. It's super bass heavy. The other pair of headphones has like a pretty significant boost. It like, what is it, like 2 to 4 K. So I know that that's going to be a little bit brighter in those headphones. This maybe even the best one is to test it on your phone. My phone speakers are not great. I haven't heard too many phones who do have great speakers. In fact, I don't know if I have heard a phone that has great speakers. So and so many people listen to their phones without headphones, just when they're like scrolling through Instagram or YouTube or whatever. So just being aware that this is a medium, whether or not you like it, it doesn't matter. It exists. And you can choose to, not acknowledge its existence, but I think it would help. It definitely has helped out my mixes when I started to listen to them over my phone. And then I would get hypercritical and be like, God, why does this sound so terrible? And you know what? Then I started listening to some other people's music over my phone, and I was just like, maybe it's not just me all the time. It's me a lot of the time, but there's also just some shortcomings that you can't overcome. Long story long, check it on your phone, check it on your, if your computer has speakers, that's great. If you've got like a little Bluetooth speaker that you use to listen to music wherever you are, obviously, car test is huge. I do not have a car, so I do not have that luxury of doing the car speaker test. But I'll take it anywhere that I can find a different set of speakers that I'm reasonably familiar with. And that will really help let you know levels and what is jumping out and what needs to be brought up, etc. And then so from there, it's really just kind of like, carving out little bit more spaces. I think, the vocals here. So I boosted this signal because I recorded it kind of low, but really finding out what you don't need. I took out some low mids in the vocals. I took out some of the super lows in the vocals. They weren't doing anything, just cluttering it up. So get rid of that stuff. And another thing is do that not only on your tracks, but do that on your sends. Do that on your reverbs. Do that on your delays. Right here, I got some EQ on the reverb. I know it's pretty quiet. Matter of fact, let's bring in this. I want this. Yeah, I want this. Because you don't need, I do not need all of the reverb everywhere. I only want a little bit of it to give it a to help place. Probably take out some more of this. It helps clear it up a little bit. It helps get rid of some of the mud and some of the clutter. I think the point I was trying to make there was the same. If you got EQ on all of your tracks, don't be afraid to EQ your reverbs. Don't be afraid to EQ your delays. Put some compression on there too. It will help your entire mix. I think I remember last week saying that mixing is kind of like a balancing act to me. It's a bunch of, it's like there's a bunch of ingredients that you gotta try to keep track of to make sure that your mix stays afloat. And using these tools will help you do that. You don't need to use the tools because you heard someone else use the tools, or you think that you need to use the tools. You want to use the tools for a very specific reason, and that is to keep your keep your mix afloat and keep it interesting and keep it moving and keep it vibrant. It's all everything. Music is cool because everything is all right here. You don't see anything. It's all through our ears. So whatever you perceive, it's all through your ears, and you can manipulate and massage and convince people and maybe ask questions about the sound that they didn't think about or they didn't know about or that the audience didn't even think was possible. It's really almost like a mindset thing, and I would get caught in the habit of, is this technically correct? And technique is great to have, but in the words of Charlie Parker, you got to learn it all and then forget it all. You can't get handcuffed to techniques and ideas that things need to be a certain way. It's really helpful to learn as much as you can, and then almost you kind of set that down when you go in to do the job that you're trying to do, and you just trust it by osmosis, or not osmosis. You just trust that because you have learned it, it will automatically come out of you. You do not need to force it. It is already, if you spent 10 hours this past week learning how to use a compressor, then that knowledge will come out of you automatically. You don't need to force that knowledge out. And that was something that I struggled with for a long time, and I'm sure I still am struggling with it. And the very last thing that kind of brings me to is references. So like if you've got a track to compare what you're working on to, or if you've got a track that you really like the way it sounds, like you say, you're like, I really like, this is me personally, I really like D'Angelo's bass from his Black Messiah album. So it's like knowing how that bass from D'Angelo's album sounds on the different systems that I have, then comparing my music to the different systems, and just being able to hear what other people are doing and how other people hear is really informative to how you can potentially hear. Sometimes I would hear something and be like, that sounds amazing, I want to do it. And then sometimes I'd be like, that sounds like not something that I enjoy, so I will not do that. And it's totally fine, because at the end of the day, this is all a self-expression, and you are trying to get as much you into the music as you can. Try to make that you in music a capital U. So I hope that was helpful. I know it's maybe a little bit more like idea oriented here. I think next week I may talk about the finishing up the product. You're finishing up the product. That's funny. Finishing up your music, i.e., any last touches that you want to put on it in terms of, we call this the 2-bus, stereo bus, whatever you prefer to call it. Basically, it's the last thing, or it's the last channel that's sending out audio. So talk a little bit about that in terms of getting your music ready to put it on, put it out into the world. So that's what I mean by product. Good Lord. Sound like not myself. So let's see here. I don't think anybody's got any chats or anything. I hope that was helpful. Let's see here. If anybody would like to do some one-on-one training, reach out to me through the YouTube. Go to my website nathangoheen.com. We'll talk about what you want to do, and we'll go from there. It's a total money back guarantee. So if you don't like what we do, I'll give you your money back, no problem. And hopefully you will like what we do, but reach out to me, because I feel like I could help with your music in different capacities. Whatever you may feel like is a weakness of yours, I feel like I might be able to help you. And it's not even so much me, it's just getting other people's insight is really, really, really powerful in the growing process. It's like a reference track. It's bouncing an idea off someone and saying, that sounds good, but let's make it sound this way. Or had you thought about doing it that way, or whatever. So anyways, I hope everybody has a fun Halloween, and I will see you next Saturday in November. Man, time is flying. So have a great week and stay safe. Keep your head on straight. Stay calm. It will be okay.